This video is dedicated to the life and memory of Caitlin Mastellini, the greatest Royameadow Generation 2 Eternal Broski who ever existed.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Okay, we're recording. Good. So, folks, before we even begin this section of Month of Sega 2 Part 2, I'm going to call it Part 2 since we are now in December. It was supposed to be done in November, but we ran out of footage. Hence the reason why you haven't seen anything come up. But before we even start, I would like to mention that I want us all to keep Nelson Mandela in our thoughts. If for those of you who do not know who Nelson Mandela is, he is was, so to speak, actually, logically, yes, I can say is, the first black president of South Africa. And unfortunately, on December 5, he ended up having to retire. Let's use that, because it sounds more decent to say than anything else. Also, over the past matter of at least 12 days, well, could 12 be used here? Yeah, I'll estimate about 12. We've also lost a few other people here and there. The one who played as Luigi in the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, I think it was, the live-action Mario Brothers show from the 80s. And we also lost an actor, Christopher Evan Welch. Not to be confused with Christopher Welch, the voice actor for Miles in The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. But it's just been a crazy day, well, crazy few weeks or so for whether it be government movements or the acting industry or pretty much anything based on fame in general. So I would like for all of you who are willing to do this to pretty much keep these people in your thoughts. Also send your condolences to the families and the people of South Africa if you are able to. I'm sure that they would pretty much appreciate it. I'd kind of appreciate it if you did that too, because you're doing a nice gesture if you are doing so. But I don't want this to be much longer than it has to be. I don't want to turn this into a speech. So, for those of you who want to get back to watching Month of Sega 2, here you go.
Viacom's.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Roya, and it's time for Mortal Kombat! You get the point. So, Mortal Kombat on the Sega Genesis. This, right next to Shaq Fu, was one of my first fighting games back in the early 2000s. So yeah, I have plenty knowledge of the 1993 version of this game. I've also had experience with the arcade version, the Super Nintendo version, and pretty much any port that was released on Mortal Monday. What you're seeing on screen here is it's basically a screen that, you know, you can type in ABACABB and then you can enable blood mode. Because in order to get the mature audiences 13 and up rating, they had to have Mortal Kombat be slightly censored. Because apparently parents were too conservative with this, and they decided, no, we're not going to allow you to see all this blood and gore and all the people getting, I don't know, heads popped off and hearts being ripped out, you name it. Why do I sound so energetic? Mortal Kombat's an energetic game to begin with. I will be showing off a lot of Test Your Might, by the way. Hence the reason why I set the play chop mode to X1. So this way, instead of every three battles, you get to see the Test Your Might every one battle. And that's basically the bio for Johnny Cage there. Basically, he's done a few movies and decided to join the tournament for whatever reasons. I forget if it was Flag 5 or Flag 6 that I had to enable, for unlimited continues, but I just wanted to play it safe. I actually did have to, do some tool assisting here and there, but it's for a decent long play. This is okay. This is respectable. So, Johnny Cage. I can actually go in a bit about this. Johnny Cage's character was originally supposed to be Jean-Claude Van Damme, but before this game even became Mortal Kombat, it was supposed to be a fighting game, but it was supposed to involve some kind of a very different concept. But yes, Johnny Cage is essentially Jean-Claude Van Damme, but in later games, especially the 3D Mortal Kombat games, with the exclusion of 4, you can easily tell that Johnny Cage looks more, I don't know, more like an actual character rather than a design around Jean-Claude Van Damme himself. And yeah, I decided to show off how good I am in Test Your Might. For Test Your Might, there are 5 blocks that you can deal with. Wood, stone, steel, ruby, and diamond, in that order. You cannot go to the next block until you destroy the one before it. When you destroy it, you will be able to get yourself a bonus. And trust me, the bonuses mean absolutely nothing towards score. Because you'll see later on, like, you'll be able to fight Reptile in a hidden area. Oh, did I spoil that? Yeah, you can only do that as Sub-Zero and Raiden. More on that later. But yeah, with that, you can basically get, like, 10 million points, even though it gives you 1 million in this version of the game. Some might have already noticed that you also hear the Test Your Might track when you do a fatality, like right here. This is because I am playing the Revision 1 ROM. I am not playing Revision 0. I grew up with Revision 0. That's the copy that Goose had all these years. And to be quite honest, I could say that Revision 1 does fix a lot of audio-based errors. But one thing I've noticed, and this is especially noticeable in gens, when you're in the options menu, not to be confused with the cheat-enabled menu, there seems to be a problem with, like, you being able to keep the cursor, whatever option you have highlighted, whether that be sound test or whatever, it's as if the emulator wants to press buttons for you. No matter if you have it set to 3-button mode or 6-button mode. This does not happen on physical copies. This only happens when you're using an emulated version of the ROM. So, that's the reason why I don't really touch the options menu too much. If I had to say, though, this game is strenuously hard. One of my biggest pet peeves with Mortal Kombat is, especially with the first 3 titles, Mortal Kombat 4 is okay in the difficulty department. 1, 2, and 3. If you're playing on anything if you're playing on anything above the very easy difficulty, you will have a hard time with this game, I assure you. Unless if you mastered how to manipulate the AI, how to pretty much avoid every special attack, Liu Kang's fireball. Could that even have been called a fireball? It didn't even look like a fireball. Either way. Some of these abilities are actually pretty dang cryptic. There's an ability that Johnny Cage knows. He can punch people in the gut or the nuts. Well, depending on the character, obviously. And apparently, if you I think you're supposed to hold down, high punch, and low kick, or some kind of cryptic combination such as that. Well, actually, I think it's down, low kick, and high kick, but for lack of a better description, you would have to look this stuff up in a guide, or if you have an instruction manual that tells you how to do the moves. Because one thing that I always had complaints with, and this is only because I only had just a cartridge of Mortal Kombat, I didn't have the cover, I didn't have the instruction manual, and this was a time where dial-up internet was still, you know, the thing back then. I actually stopped using dial-up as of 2010, like, I would say in like the month of December 14, when I got the computer that I got right now. And yeah, I didn't know how to do all the specials until 2006, where I actually had the time to, you know, go into Game Winners and look it up. Obviously I didn't have a printer at the time, so I had to write everything down. You do not know how much dedication I put into this game. Then thanks to my friend David Medeiros, he ended up giving me his physical copy of Mortal Kombat 2 for the Sega Genesis. So that meant I had to learn 12 more ability sets. I think it's like 20-something fatalities, and then the friendships and babalities later on. But we'll get to Mortal Kombat 2 when we get to Mortal Kombat 2. Let's talk about the stages, why not? So in the beginning you have the courtyard with Shang Tsung's, you know, just sitting up there on the balcony. Shang Tsung's the one that's running this tournament. Basically, it's his way of having Shao Kahn rule the earth. If he can have everybody get killed by Shang Tsung, or have everybody get killed by each other, then all the Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn would have to do is pretty much claim Earth as their own. And knowing that there are only a few warriors, these 7 warriors, so to speak, yeah, this is all that's in their path. And see, now we're back in the courtyard. You got the little dragon statues. You probably got Kung Lao in the background, hanging, holding on to one of those spears. You got Shang Tsung in the balcony up there. You know, I have to ask, what the heck is going on through Shang Tsung's mind? I was about to say Shao Kahn, but yeah. It's quite nice to notice this. And oh crap! I didn't even notice that we were in the middle of a mirror match. Yes, partway through the original Mortal Kombat, I think 7 battles through, you have to fight yourself, and then you have to do endurance battles where you have to fight 2 people. Especially if you're playing as Raiden or Sub-Zero, this will definitely come in handy, I assure you. But I'll get into that when we get into that. I won't lie, this is actually a dang near decent port. The Sega CD version is better in the audio department, but I kind of do wish that they would have kept in a lot of the background, because, right here, the Shaolin Temple. The Shaolin Temple had a lot of clouds in the background, and sadly that's missing. The statue area, which is the stage right after. Oh, there we go. It's got Scorpion in the nuts. But yeah, the statue room, or I think it's called the Warrior Shrine. You could have seen mountains and a few other things in the background. There was a statue of Liu Kang. That's not present in the Genesis version. That's not even present in the Sega CD version. The pit stayed relatively the same, except you didn't get to see the body parts and heads of the developers, and I think a part of Scorpion or Cyrax on one of the spikes. Let's see, I think Shang Tsung's temple also featured, Shang Tsung's temple featured, you know, the forest in the background. I don't think you get to see that here in the Genesis version, and Goro's lair is completely unchanged. Except for probably a little attention to detail, but it's not too problematic. It's nothing we don't know. Nothing we don't know, nothing we can really snitch about unless you want to actually have an arcade-perfect port. Get a PC version, dang it! See, like right here, in the arcade version of Mortal Kombat, there is a moon and there are mountains. They are not present here. I am kind of sad. It kind of makes you wonder if this is taking place during the day now. It makes you wonder if ports of Mortal Kombat are the sequel to Mortal Kombat games all over the... I don't even know how to say this. If there's anything I would have to say on the live action perspective of this game, however, to be quite frank about it, I like the concept of live action. In fact, every single game that I've ever planned on making over the past 11 years, yes, I've been making plans on making a whole bunch of games, thousands of them. And I've been using the concept of live action. Live action is something that I approve of. I like seeing real people in my game. I don't want, you know, my cartoon designs are, well, can I even call them cartoon designs? That's just a side thing, but, you know, it's for conceptual reasons. But I don't like 3D rendering. I've always preferred real, physical people over 3D rendering. And I'm sure that a lot of people back in the 90s thought so. You see, I'm a 90s gaming style person trying to bring live action into modern day gaming. But here's one of the problems with that. With our current software, I don't even think is it even possible to do that? I'd probably have to make hardware and software of my own just to, you know, balance out the odds with this. And fun fact. You know how Johnny Cage is able to punch people in the nuts? He cannot do that with Sonya Blade. Yes, of all characters, one in Mortal Kombat Fatality Lives, aka Mortal Kombat 2011, aka Mortal Kombat 9, aka Mortal Kombat 9 Fatality Lives. Johnny Cage has a love interest. Sonya Blade is Johnny Cage's love interest. But even in that game, he can punch Sonya in the nuts, even though she doesn't have nuts. I think she just gets hit in the gut, but just noticing that, it's quite... see right there? Can't even do a dang thing about that. In the arcade version, normally you would hear Goro stomping up and down, but... No, here he is. Basically, the story with Goro, in brief, is Kung Lao had defeated him 500 years ago, and ever since he... Or was it he defeated Kung Lao 500 years ago? It was one of those. And somehow he was brought back by, I think, either Quan Chi, Shao Kahn, or Shang Tsung, and is pretty much doing their dirty work. He is considered a Shokan. I see the take on words you did there, Midway. Shokan, Shao Kahn, get it? We're nearing the final battle, actually. Crazy to know how 15 minutes and 32 seconds go, right? Well, it's probably like 15 minutes and 45 seconds given the intro, but whatever. Shang Tsung is really aged in this game. Bottom of the pit. Hi, Reptile. Is there really anything important to say about Shang Tsung aside from the fact that, okay, we get it. He can turn into any of the opponents you fought so far, even yourself and Goro. One of the problems I've had with Shang Tsung, though, is in the arcade version, he does so much damage. Like that fireball he just fired. In the arcade version, he'll fire like 4 of those in quick succession. It takes out 80% of your health. Can you imagine that? Losing 80% of your health just from fireballs. Anywho, Johnny Cage just defeated everybody. He won the tournament. And and he decided to make Mortal Kombat the movie, which is an actual movie, by the way. If you haven't seen it yet, I actually recommend that you do. The first time I ever got to watch Mortal Kombat the movie was, I think, back in either 2004, 2005. I think it was in August. But if I had to say, Mortal Kombat the movie, it doesn't really. It's loosely based on the game itself, but there's a lot that's missing from it. A lot of the bouts with everybody is not the same. I couldn't really tell you anything about the Mortal Kombat movie in general, because I really only got to see it once. I've never seen a rebroadcasting of it. They only showed it on UPN 38 once. Just that one time, and they never showed it again. It's never been on the BIS network. It's never been on 25.2, the movies channel. It hasn't been on anything else, say like, I'm just gonna toss out there, Boston's WB/the CW, or even Fox for that matter. Yeah, again, I grew up with broadcast television, so I guess that's kind of why I'm missing out on everything, but it's not that I haven't upgraded. I've got modern technology. I've got pretty much anything that I could pretty much use at my disposal. It's just that I don't know exactly where to look. But that is the end of part 1. I kind of went on for a bit, didn't I? Well, that's what happens when you eat 2 pieces of bread with Miracle Whip. It gets you places.